Here we're going to continue to look at the law of cosines, but in this video we're now going to look at how can we handle if we're given side, angle, side. So here we're given two sides of our triangle and the angle that makes up from the two sides. So in other words, if we're given the following triangle where we have ABC, little a, little b, and little c. So for example, maybe we have side, angle, side. So we could solve this using the law of cosines. And if we look at the same formula we had before, such as the cosine of A equals B squared plus C squared minus A squared, all divided by 2 times B times C. All we have to do is rearrange the equation, because here we know angle A, we're actually trying to find side A. That's going to be the side that we have to find. So if you're given side, angle, side, then the side that you're going to have to find first is the side that is opposite of the angle that's given to you. So all we have to do is actually rearrange this, and we'll come up with the formula that we can use. And the first step is we want to get the 2bc off the bottom. So we're going to multiply both sides of the equation by 2bc. And we would end up with 2bc times the cosine of A equals B squared plus C squared minus A squared. So then if we want to continue to solve for A squared, now probably to make things a little bit easier here, we have a minus A squared. I'm actually going to add A squares to both sides. So that way we make our A positive. So therefore we would then have A squared plus 2bc cosine of A equals B squared plus C squared, because here the A squareds would cancel out. So now we need to get rid of the 2bc cosine of A, so we could simply subtract 2bc cosine of A from both sides of the equation. And then we would be left with A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2bc cosine of A. So this is the formula or the form of the equation we want to use if we're looking for the side of our triangle using the law of cosines. And the previous video showed us how we could actually find the angle if we're given the three sides, but if we're given side, angle, side, this is the formula here that we would want to use. And I'll go ahead and list the others. The other that we would have is if we're looking for, instead of side A, if we wanted to find side B, then it would simply be B squared equals A squared plus C squared minus 2AC multiplied by the cosine of B. And then if we're looking for C, we'd have C squared equals A squared plus B squared. Let's see, we have C squared equals A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cosine of C. So here you have the three different ones that we could use to find whether we're looking for side A, side B, or side C. So let's look at an example. And of course here you'll notice, just like the other formulas we had before, if you're looking for side A, then that means you have to have angle A. And then if you're looking for side B, you have to have angle B. And if we're looking for side C, we would have to have angle C. So let's look at a video of how we can use this side, angle, side with the law of cosines. So let's say that we're given, we have A is equal to 10, B is equal to 7, and angle C is equal to 108 degrees. Well, once again, we want to actually draw and label our triangle. So we have A, B, and C. We know little a is equal to 10, b is equal to 7, and angle C is equal to 108 degrees. So we notice here we do have our side, angle, and side. So here, what side do we need to find? Well, remember, if you have this side, angle, side, we have to find first the side that is opposite of our angle. So that means we need to look for side C. And to do that, we would end up with C squared is equal to, and we're going to use this formula here, a squared plus b squared minus 2ab. And you'll notice when we use this one, the a squared plus b squared are going to be the two sides that are given that make up our angle. So that would just simply be our 10 squared plus 7 squared minus 2 times 10 times 7, and that's multiplied by the cosine of C, which is 108 degrees. And at this point, we could simply go to the calculator and enter all this in. So we would have, let's see, went too quick there. We'd have 10 squared plus 7 squared minus 2 times 10 times 7, and then that's going to be multiplied by the cosine of 108 degrees. And if we hit enter, we get 192.26. And what we have to realize is this is still not C, this is C squared. So if we actually want to find C, we now have to take the square root, and on the calculator, once again, I'm going to go second square root, and then I'm going to go second answer, so that it brings down the entire decimal, and we get 13.86, and I'll just go to one decimal place and make this 13.9. So we know little c is equal to 13.9. Now at this point we can actually continue to use the law of cosines, or since we have this obtuse angle here, we could use the law of sines. So if we go to use now the law of sines, we could actually find angle A, and we would go sine of A over the side which is 10, and then sine of 108 over the 13.9 which we just found. And then of course, to get sine A by itself, we need to multiply by 10. So we would have sine of A is equal to the sine of 108 degrees divided by 13.9, and of course that would be multiplied by 10. So if we go to the calculator, we would end up with the sine of 108, and I'm going to close the parentheses. We're going to divide that then by the 13.9, and notice that's going to divide, then we're going to multiply by 10, and we get 0.6842. So the sine of A is equal to 0.6842, and then to find the actual angle, we're going to go and use the inverse, so that's second sine, and again I'm going to use second answer to bring down the decimal, and we end up with the same here if we get an angle of 43 degrees. So now we know angle A is equal to 43 degrees, and then of course if we want to find angle B, we could just use the idea that we know all three angles are going to add up to 180, so we could take 180 minus 108 minus 43, and we would end up with 180 minus 108 minus 43, and we get an angle of 29 degrees. So here we have now solved the entire triangle. So what you need to do now is realize that here we can use one of these three formulas if we're given the side, angle, side, okay? And then if you're given side, 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 you could use the form that we used in the previous video. And again, if you're a little confused with using the law, when we can use the law of sines, you can always use the law of cosines anytime that we have this side, angle, side, or from the previous video where we had all three sides that were given.